I want to show you some of the future features that we'd like to develop in Street Plan. To do that, you go here to Future Features, and the first one would be the value of complete streets. So our idea here is to try to put some economic analysis to this complete streets tool. So basically we use case studies from around the country to estimate the level of private investment that can go into streets as a result of various features. So as different cities have added trees or bike lanes or premium landscaping, transit, what has the result been 10 years later regarding the level of investment that was there relative to some other street where in a similar situation where they didn't do that. And then cost. So we thought we'd try to add some way of estimating the cost of adding each feature, and then do a comparison, a ratio of benefit over cost to see when you're above 1, then it was a good investment. If it was below 1, you might still want to do it anyway, but you're not getting your money back completely. So that's the idea on economic analysis. Goals and objectives analysis. The idea here is that when you sit down with your stakeholders, you may all decide on what you value and what you want to have happen. So say in this case, everybody values a great result for bikes and pedestrians very highly. Safety is still an important goal, and as are auto and mobility goals. But then Street Plan, through its analysis of what it is that you're actually doing, would then say, okay, well, you wanted a goal, a 4-star result in safety, but we think you're only going to achieve a 3-star result there. So it helps you to see if your actual result is mismatched from what it was that you were trying to do. So back here to walkability and Enclosure Score. Some of the research into what makes an area walkable centers around the sense that pedestrians have of a lot going on near them, even closed in, and that they're walking through interesting places and things are close to them, not real far away from them. So this enclosure score is what architects often use to try to measure how well a street is doing in that regard. A really excellent enclosure score might be a 2-to-1 or ratio, where for every for 2 widths of the street, buildings go up 1 or landscape goes up 1. So this is a building enclosure example. Landscape can also have that effect, so we could take the average height of trees that you've selected and make a measurement off of that and give a star rating. So maybe this 3-to-1 would be a 4-star rating. So many suburban arterial streets, though, are abysmal when it comes to this. They're extremely wide. They have wide setbacks. Any buildings are very short, or there's parking out in the front. Landscaping is random at best and not really anything you could judge an enclosure off of. So in this case, 14-to-1. We think this would be really helpful for the planning community, but it takes time, takes a little bit of money and resources to do that, and we just don't have that quite yet. So if you want to help, give us a call. We're hoping to build an entire urban forestry toolkit. The idea there is that as city councils, developers, the public map out a street, they're going to need to understand the appropriate kinds of trees for that environment. If it's retail, they need the right kind of tree. If there are certain climate zones, they need the right kind of tree. How large the trees get, the coloring, everything like that. So there's so many options, and so the idea there is to depict all the various kinds of trees and their size at different maturities if they're not trimmed. Also the summer and fall foliage, if there is some. We've got a source, Robert O'Brien, who makes great drawings of trees, and he will work with us to get all these trees in. Another idea there is then to As you click on a tree that you might want to use, then the module would tell you about the tree, how high it can get, the amount of space it needs to grow its roots and not destroy cement and everything. And then climate zone, and then some photos of that tree in use in different urban settings. We also wanted to add in some tree calculators to show that the larger the tree and the more of them that you have, the more carbon they can suck out of the atmosphere. Another calculator is to estimate the effect on property values that trees have over time. So do some case study research to see examples of streets that have nice uniform trees and the property values there, and similar streets that the only real noticeable difference is the lack of the trees, and then assess the values there. The last idea we have is for this wiki library of case studies of streets, and we've kind of already started to do that. The idea here is to allow you to publish your streets with queryable features. So maybe you'd add tags such as what state it's in, or whether the cross-section you've designed represents your standard cross-section for all new streets, or maybe it's a retrofit street. Award-winning streets is another one that might be fun. So people who are very proud of some street or they've won some award, allow them to mock up their street and then publish it as with the tag that it's an award winner, and then tell the story of that award. We've already done that to some extent. So the American Planning Association publishes great streets every year, and we've already kind of published those, and they're available. So the idea is simply to make it easier for you to find what everybody else is doing and compare your own situation with other exciting things that you find. So that's kind of it for our ideas on future development topics. If you have any additional ideas, just contact us and let us know. Thanks.